I know you want to give your brain a shake. And I also know the perfect way to do it. Get ready for a new portion of tricky riddles. A man had a book that was worth $50,000. There were only 2 such books in existence. He threw the book into the furnace, reducing it to a pile of soot. Why did he do this? He destroyed the book because he had both copies. After destroying one of them, there was only one left, so its value immediately went up. Mr. Brown's sons found their dad unconscious on the floor of his office. They immediately called their father's friend, Detective Smith. The detective knew that Mr. Brown was uber wealthy. His sons were going to inherit loads of money, but one of them must have needed money urgently. Smith questioned each of the brothers separately. David, the oldest, said, "I came in to feed the fish, and Dad was still fine." Marcus said that he had come in to discuss his business plans, and his father had given him some great advice. And Lucas, the youngest brother, said, "I entered Dad's office because I needed a favor. I wanted to take his car to impress the girl I like." Detective Smith immediately realized who was lying. And you? It's David. He said he had come to feed the fish. And indeed, there's an aquarium in the office. But there are no fish in it. Sarah and Liam had a son called Oliver. On Saturday, the couple went out for dinner and left Oliver at home. When they returned, the boy was nowhere to be found.
Oh no!
The anxious parents called the police. A detective arrived and questioned everyone in the house. The babysitter said she'd been packing Oliver's school bag for the next day. The maid said she'd spent the whole evening cleaning the kitchen, and the cook said he'd been preparing food for the next day. He was listening to music and didn't hear anything. The police immediately knew who was lying. And what about you? It was the babysitter. Children don't go to school on Sundays, so Oliver didn't need his school bag to be packed. Detective Adams arrived at the Museum of Modern Music because someone had stolen legendary shoes that belonged to Elvis Presley. A museum guard told the detective that they had reviewed the footage from security cameras and found out that all visitors had come in and left empty-handed, and the shoes were too bulky to put them in a pocket or under a t-shirt. Detective Adams examined the footage and said he knew who had stolen the shoes. Have you figured it out? It's the red-headed guy. When he entered the exhibition, he was shorter than other visitors. But when he was leaving, he was as tall as the others. He must be wearing Elvis's high-heeled shoes. Let's check how attentive you are. Look at this picture and try to figure out what's wrong here. The teacher is very suspicious. She doesn't get reflected in the mirror. Now, how about these people? What are they doing wrong? See that coffee machine in the background? The cup is placed incorrectly and the coffee is spilling. A witch owned a field that had many gold mines. She hired one person at a time to mine that gold for her. She promised 10% of what that person mined in a day, and they would have to give her the rest. But the witch was blind, so she had 3 magic bags that could talk. They reported how much gold they held each day, and this was how she found out if the workers were cheating. Upon getting the job, each person agreed that if they weren't honest, they would be turned into stone. Around the witch's mines, there were many stone statues. A man named Logan once accepted the job. The witch promised him, "If I wrongly accuse you of cheating, I'll be turned into stone." One night, Logan overheard the bags talking to the witch. The next evening, he submitted some gold and kept 1.6 pounds for himself. Later, the witch talked to her bags. The first bag said it held 16 pounds that day. The second one said it held 5 pounds. The third one said it held 2 pounds. The witch confronted Logan. "You think you could fool me? Now you shall turn into stone," she screamed. 1 second later, the witch turned into a stone statue herself. How did Logan deceive her? Logan put 2 pounds of gold in bag number 1, 3 pounds in bag number 2, and 11 pounds in bag number 3. He then put bag number 2 into bag number 3, and bag number 1 into bag number 2. Each of the bags only felt the weight of the gold above it. Thus, they inadvertently gave the message that 23 pounds of gold had been mined. 2 cars are driving through the city. They both started their journey at the same time. The green car is moving at a speed of 30 miles per hour. The yellow car is faster. Its speed is 50 miles per hour. And still, at one point, the green car comes across the yellow car. How is it possible? The cars are traveling in opposite directions. Larry called the police because he had some concerns about his friend Brandon. He said, "Brandon has recently returned from Brazil and has been behaving strangely since then. I've just received a weird phone call from him. I think it would be better if you came with me." When police officers picked him up, Larry gave them the address. He explained he hadn't been there yet. Brandon rented the place soon after he came back from his trip. When they arrived at the house, they saw a mess inside. There was some paint spilled on the floor, and one police officer accidentally stepped into it. Larry noticed it. "How unlucky! Let me take you to the bathroom." After that, he immediately got arrested. Why?
Uh-oh.
Larry said he'd never visited Brandon's new home before. Then how did he know where the bathroom was? John's mom got angry with the guy and locked him in his room. But she wasn't cruel. She left her son a chance to get out of there. To do it, he needed to find the answer to this riddle. Turn me on my side and I am everything. Cut me in half and I am nothing. What am I? Can you help the guy to escape? The answer is the number 8. On its side, it's infinity, but cut it in half, and you'll get 2 zeros. It's a 5-digit whole number. It reads the same, forward, backward, and upside down. Its second digit is half of the third one. The 5th digit is the product of the first and the second ones. And the sum of all the digits is 10. What number is it? It's 10801. Eric got lost in a museum. While he was trying to find a way out, it got really late. All the doors were already closed. Finally, the guy saw 3 staircases. The first one was all covered in bizarre nettles with razor-sharp leaves and long spikes. The second had giant, stinking flowers with a stench almost impossible to bear. And the third staircase was an impassable jungle of cacti. Which staircase should Eric choose? He should opt for the second staircase. Even though the flowers are gross, they're relatively harmless. When you add 5 to 6, you will get 11. But when you add 6 to 7, you will get 1. How is that possible? It's possible when you're looking at a clock. A coin is put into an empty bottle. Then this bottle is plugged with a cork. How can you remove the coin without breaking the bottle or pulling the cork out? All you need to do is push the cork into the bottle and shake the coin out.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side. So, how well do you know the world's most famous landmarks? Really? Take our visual memory test and check it. Please keep the score of the answers and let us know how many landmarks you guessed right. Millions of people visit Paris every year to see the famous landmark. But did you know that Parisians, especially the artists, rejected the tower's construction back then? They even started a petition against it. They believed the building was going to spoil the view of the city, saying it doesn't reflect the French taste. Speaking of French taste, countries around the world liked it apparently. The tower's construction was finished in 1889. Since then, dozens of replicas have been constructed worldwide. The Statue of Liberty has 305 replicas. The Eiffel Tower follows its fame. Where is the real Eiffel Tower, and where is its replica? The one on the left is the real Eiffel Tower. The picture on the right is taken in Prague, Czech Republic. It is the famous Petrin Lookout Tower. Citizens were influenced by the Eiffel Tower and built the Petrin Lookout Tower only 2 years after Eiffel Tower's construction. It has 299 steps. Plus, it was a signal provider for quite some time until another television tower opened. This practical use differentiates it from nearly all the other replicas. Now, the Eiffel Tower is a technical and architectural success, yet it was meant to last only 20 years. Look at it now. It underwent construction, but remember what I told you about its replicas? Where is the next fake Eiffel Tower? Okay, this one is fake. The one on the left is from Canada. It is a successful replica. Would you visit it if you were in Canada, or prefer to see the original one? Eiffel Tower at night. Pick the real one. The world is not as it seems. The one on the left is in Durango, Mexico. This one is on the right. It is outside Slobozia in Romania. This replica is about 177 feet, whereas the original Eiffel Tower is over 1,000 feet. The real Eiffel Tower is on the right. The left one is a replica in Las Vegas. It is one of the closest ones to the actual tower. Suppose you fancy having a little more Parisian vibe. In that case, you can see the image of the Paris Opera or Louvre Museum nearby. Yet you cannot admire the actual painting of the Mona Lisa in Vegas. Moving on to Italy. Which one is the real Trevi Fountain? Yep, the left one. The Trevi Fountain is in Rome. You know, the one in which millions of tourists throw coins every year? The fountain is a lofty 85 feet tall and 65 feet wide. The replica is again in Vegas. Vegas sure likes to have a lot of famous European stuff around. This imitation is much more miniature, but has a good deal of resemblance with the real one. It has become a tourist spot as the one in Italy. Spot the fake Golden Gate Bridge. The one on the right is the actual bridge. It was the world's longest and tallest bridge at its time. Even though the left one resembles the Golden Gate Bridge, it is actually in Portugal's capital, Lisbon. This suspension bridge is a well-known landmark in the city. An American company was the primary contractor of the bridge. Maybe that's why both bridges look alike. The mysterious Stonehenge from the UK. Which one is real? The one on the left is real. The one on the right is from Virginia. A facsimile of the ancient site called Foamhenge, a full-scale replica made from, you guessed it, styrofoam. Leaving the mysterious Stonehenge behind, we go to a temple on the Athenian Acropolis in Greece. Back then, people constructed it from marble, unlike the imitation one made from concrete. Which one is the actual Parthenon? Yep, the left side. Centuries later, a full-size replica of the Parthenon is built. Where? In Centennial Park, Nashville, Tennessee. Is this one also dedicated to Athena? This one dates back to 1897. 19th century copycat is still a bit older, considering youngster copycats of other landmarks. Taj Mahal, 20,000 people and over 20 years of construction. This structure in India is counted as one of the new 7 wonders of the world. And yes, the story gives you chills. Emperor Shah Jahan ordered this construction after his wife passed, from 1653 to our day. Can you guess which one is the actual Taj Mahal? I'll move you to the right side. The actual palace is made from marble by the people. The fake model of the Taj Mahal has bricks. The replica is in Malaysia. It's like a mini model of the real one, but from bricks. The Rialto Bridge in Venice, Italy. It is the oldest and probably the most famous bridge in Venice's Grand Canal. Can you spot the real one? Left, pick the left. Ah, bellissima! It was completed in 1591, a Renaissance landmark. The original bridge has been rebuilt several times since its first construction. The current version has 3 walkways. 2 of them have outer banisters. The last one is wider, and it's the central walkway accompanied by 2 rows of small shops for the tourists. Yet again, there's a modern version in Las Vegas. You can even have a canal tour with a gondola. So, which one is real? The one on the right side. One of Italy's most visited attractions is the Leaning Tower of Pisa, made out of marble. The construction of the landmark took nearly 200 years to complete. The architect, Bonanno Pisano, was so embarrassed by it, he faded into obscurity, never knowing what a marvel it would become years later. Meanwhile, its duplicate stands in Illinois. May I present the Leaning Tower of Niles? Almost like a mirror image, huh? There are vast differences, though. Unlike the genuine Leaning Tower of Pisa, the Leaning Tower of Niles is half the size of the original. It is made from concrete, and people didn't spend 2 centuries building it. Now, for extra credit, can you guess what favorite food is served at both these tilting structures? That's right, lean cuisine. Okay, let's continue with another iconic landmark of Italy. Which one of these is the real Colosseum? The one on the left? The Colosseum is an area in the city of Rome. Interesting fact time. Did you know that Colosseum is the largest ancient amphitheater ever built? It also protects this fame by being the largest standing amphitheater in the world today. The bulging stadium had 80 entrances. It's made of stone and concrete. Almost 2/3 of the Colosseum has been lost over time, probably because of people's behaviors and natural causes. It is a tourist site that attracts lots and lots of people every year. The fake Colosseum enjoys its fame too. The picture on the right is also called the Colosseum. It's located at the buzzing part of the Las Vegas Strip at Caesar's Palace. It's a huge venue hosting performances. It has room for over 4,000 people, but isn't as big as the original. This one welcomed people such as Cher and Celine Dion in the past. Do you remember I mentioned the fake Trevi Fountain? Well, those 2 fake landmarks, the Trevi Fountain and the Colosseum, are really close to each other in Las Vegas. Okay, here's the last chance to raise your score on this quiz. Which one of these is the real Arc de Triomphe? Yes, the one on the left. If you look closely at the other picture, you might see that this replica is smaller than it was supposed to be. It's because the second one is not a full-size replica. It might be tricky to spot with all the tall buildings around, but a careful eye might catch it. It's one of the well-known monuments in Paris, France, standing at the heart of the Champs-Élysées. The real Arc de Triomphe stays at the Champs-Élysées. The fake Arc is located in… where else? Las Vegas. Okay, tally up your score and show me in the comments. That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.